Beings, shout out to you. It's the holistic motivator, and today I'm going to be talking about the art of being pleasant. Pleasantness is an art, just like communication is an art. When we are communicating with our presence, that's what it means to be pleasant. Communicating with your presence. A lot of times you think you need words to better communicate or love on people. In reality, you don't really need words to communicate. You need presence. So we can have bad moments, but we don't have to have bad days if we turn it around. Even in the rain, we can still find pleasantness. So I'm actually being pleasant in the rain right now. I'm like, we're gonna do this podcast, whether it's raining or it's not raining. So keep tapping into this episode of Ed Talks Daily as I talk about the art of being pleasant. Let's get it. So being pleasant is a mindset as much as it is an action. Being pleasant is a way of being as much as it is a decision. So sometimes we have to decide to be pleasant even if we're not in pleasant circumstances. Life is not always pleasant, but how we look at it can change situations. How we actually perceive the rain can either be, some person say, I'm getting wet and I hate it. Another person says, I'm getting blessed and I love it. Actually now, when I see that it's raining, I don't really think about the inconvenience of the rain. I actually think about the blessing from the rain. I think about how my plants are gonna grow. I think about how we actually need some rain. We haven't gotten some in a while. I think about how it's the season of rain. Sometimes we're in a season of rain, but we want it to be in a drought. But when we were in a drought, we were asking for the rain. What I mean by that is sometimes we're in situations where we're uncomfortable and we actually wanted a situation where we can grow. But because we were uncomfortable in the situation, we think it's a bad thing. When in reality, sometimes to get the blessing, you got to get the blessing with it being uncomfortable. Like blessings don't always come in a comfortable fashion. A lot of times blessings comes in a uncomfortable fashion. Growth doesn't always come in a comfortable fashion. A lot of times it comes in a way where you have to be strained and pulled. So if you decide, I'm about to start a business, you're gonna have some time where there's a drought. And you're also gonna have some time where it's raining. Don't be complaining in the drought and in the rain. And what I mean by that is, when you have no customers or no business, you're complaining. When you have too much customers or too much business, you're like, I can't fulfill it. So now what you're telling God is, I don't know, even the blessing I can't handle, right? So we have to understand that if we're gonna get the blessing, we gotta get the stress from the blessing. And how we manage ourselves is how it's gonna determine whether or not you live life stress-free in the midst of stress. Like stress is gonna happen, but if we learn how to recuperate, if we learn how to rejuvenate, if we learn how to recharge, we can keep actually producing in stressful situations. In fact, we actually need a little bit of stress if we're gonna get things done. By that I mean, sometimes you don't really know what to do to grow your business, so that's when you become the most resourceful. Tony Robbins says this, and it always stuck with me. It says, it's not having the resources that hurt you, it's the lack of resourcefulness. So you can be in a situation where you don't have the money, you don't have the clients, you don't have the people, but you got the gift. You don't have the resources, but you have to learn how to be resourceful. A lot of my ideas and concepts came when I didn't have the resources. Like when I didn't have the money, I actually had to find a way to make it happen in a different way. So some of my greatest ideas came in me trying to figure out, how do I do it without having this? And out of not having that came a whole different concept. Are you guys tracking with me here? When I didn't have a gym as a personal trainer, I decided to start a mobile personal training business because I didn't have a gym. And guess what? The mobile personal training business was better than a regular personal training business. While most people was at the gym, I was literally at the parks working people out. When I didn't, like, I started something called Rising Prime as a rising routine because I didn't necessarily have the resources to do workshops. So I was like, yo, we are in a pandemic. People are at home. They need something to help them. So out of that came Rising Prime. Out of that came a whole community. Actually, when I was with somebody who was my teacher, I was like, bro, I want to actually use my gifts. And the lack of support was like, yo, you know what? I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to do my own thing. That actually became its own thing. I actually grew out of situations. So basically, it's not the lack of resources that we need to focus on, but it's how can we be resourceful when we don't have the resources? How can you use what you got to give what you got and get what you want? Like, I want you to hear that. How can you use what you got to give what you got and get what you want? And what I mean by that is, you got something even if you don't have the thing you think you need to do what you need to do. And that's your gifting, that's your anointing, that's the blessing and calling on your life. That's what you got. I know it's raining. So since you got that, you got to learn how to use that to bless as you are stressed. Right? You don't have to wait for the stress to start being a blessing. Like, I've had financial stress, but I still got my gift. Right? You might be going through some financial stress, but you still can have a gifting and anointing that you can use in the midst of your stress. Right? I've had emotional stresses in my life, and instead of being hurt by my stresses, I decided to turn my mess into a message. I decided to use my story to empower myself, and I started empowering other people. And out of that came my gifting started to be developed, which means I was literally like sleeping in my car, but I was at Owl TV in my college studio, and I was literally making content. I was getting people to come interview them so I can learn from them, so I can actually be a blessing to other people by using my media gifts to help people. So what I mean by that is, no circumstance or situation gonna stop you if you say, actually, I'm gonna utilize this moment or this situation to make something good out of it. Here's what happens. You have to have a mindset of resiliency. You gotta have a mindset of creativity. A mindset of resiliency says, I don't have everything that I want, and I might not be able to get everything that I want, but I have everything that I need. And what I have that I need is my gift, is a purpose, is a reason for living, is something that I want to bring into the world. That's what you're going to do. So the art of pleasantness is saying that my situations don't have to be pleasant for me to be pleasant. My pocket don't have to be pleasant for me to be pleasant. So then that starts to bleed into your attitude, the way that you move every single day, the way you interact with people. So you might be stressed and feel like everything is not going in your favor, but you got to walk around and say, I'm blessed and I'm highly favored. Like literally somebody asks you, how you doing? And you growing through it. But you got to say, I am blessed. I am too blessed to be stressed. I am blessed and highly favored. Somebody says, are you lying to yourself or being delusional? No, actually, you telling yourself the truth. Because the truth of the matter is, no matter what you don't have or think you should have, you're still blessed and highly favored. Like your blessings is not based on your circumstances. Your blessing is based on the opportunity to create. If you got breath in your body, that means you still can create. If you got breath in your body, you should still be in gratitude. Every single day that you are awake, you could choose to be pleasant. What if you have a bad time? What if you have a bad moment? Does it mean you have to have a bad day? Not always. Sometimes we can't get ourselves out of a rut because we got too deep. We got too deep in the thinking that got us in the rut. But we can actually get ourselves out of bad states of being. Like literally, you could wake up pissed and go to sleep in gratitude. You could wake up pissed and go to sleep joyful. Why? Because you learned that, yo, I might be mad right now at this situation, but I don't have to keep being mad. You might be big mad for a little bit, but you don't have to stay mad. You don't have to be big mad all day. Like you could be mad right now and then later you say, oh, it's not that serious. Why so serious? A lot of times we try to fight to feel a certain way because we want to keep that going because we're mad at somebody. So the hurt that you feel, the anger ain't going to hurt them. It's only going to hurt you. So sometimes we have to actually master the art of letting go to be pleasant. Have you ever been in a situation with somebody that is your friend, actually your wife, your spouse, your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, and all of a sudden you got mad at them? And if you choose to keep being mad at them, you're going to keep being mad at them. But if you say, you know what, I'm going to let that go. I'm not going to keep that going in my head. Like, it's not that big of a deal. I love them too much. I love myself too much to keep perpetuating my anger towards them. You're going to let it go. Why? Because you made a decision. You made a decision to be pleasant. So pleasantness is an art, but you got to keep creating pleasant as an art. So an artist have to keep painting in order to create that thing. And based on your mood, gonna be your paint. Pleasantness does not always look like, per se, everything is fine and dandy. Pleasantness might look like things are dark right now. I'm still gonna create with my darkness. Like literally, there are some moments where I was going through like depressive moments, bad times, and I came on here and I gave a speech. Why? Because I said I'm gonna turn my pain into purpose. I'm gonna turn my mess into a message. So even if you do the work of empowering, lifting up others, being a blessing, being a mom, being a dad, you can actually use it as fuel. Like things might be going bad in your business right now, but you can literally say, you know what? I'm gonna actually turn my pain into passion. Like sometimes you could be big man and turn your big man to big passion. Like literally, I play sports and I would get mad when somebody beat me and I'm second place in that track race. But I'm going to take that mad, I'm going to go run. I'm going to go run the miles. When I come back, I'm about to beat you. Why? Because I turned my mad into a fire of desire. I turned I was the first one to lose, to say, you know what, I'm going to be the first one to show up on the track. I did that all of the time because guess what? Being the underdog creates a fire inside of you that being the top dog won't. I'm telling you, the top dogs become the top dogs because they were underdogs. It's just a matter of fact. Like literally being like, getting it from the gutter, showing up for one person, 5 people, 6 people, it creates a fire that says like, yo, literally I'm about to give my best speech to 6. When I get 6,000, I'm about to give them even a better speech. Why? Because I don't let circumstances, numbers, views deter me for giving my gift. You creating content and you're like, bro, my content ain't popping like it could be. You don't let that stop you from being a blessing. You keep creating your content. You keep being a blessing because you say, I'm going to serve the few like I'm serving the many. Like I'm going to show up for the few like I'm showing up for the many. Like it starts with the few that you have impact on. And usually that's going to be your family. Like that's going to be your immediate family. It's going to be your son. It's going to be your friend circle. So a lot of people, you want to go out and like be a superhero for the world. I want you to be a super dad, a super mom before you could be like the superhero. Because the hero starts at home. The hero's journey starts in the pleasantness at your house. Which means if you're trying to like, yo, I'm trying to be at work. I'm trying to give my best version of work. Like my boss pissed me off. My coworkers get on my nerves. Like legit, your kids get on your nerves sometimes. Your wife get on your nerves sometimes. But you got to learn how to be pleasant at the crib so you can be pleasant at the office. Because your pleasantness at home actually goes into the office. You being pissed off at work is actually a result of you being pissed off at home. And when we start to say, and when we practice the art of forgiveness, that's actually the art of pleasantness, right? Because when we hold things against other people, we actually hold it in ourselves, which then becomes something that hurt us subconsciously. There are times where like literally with my stepmom, like she's not talking to me. I'm not talking to her. Now all of a sudden I'm in a moody situation. Now everybody's being hurt. Everybody's being hurt because I'm hurt. Everybody gets hurt when you're hurt. So one of the major things you could do is make sure that you let things go so you can grow. Because guess what? You're not actually inflicting pain on people because you're a bad person. You're actually only giving off the pain you're feeling. So when we're able to heal from the pain we're feeling by letting go and forgiving other people, we forgive ourselves and we're able to show up pleasant in our workplace, in our environment, in our business, for our clients, for the people we empower. So pleasantness starts at home. How do you create a pleasant home environment? We have to create a pleasant home environment by actually loving people and loving ourselves. Doing unto others as we would like to be done unto ourselves. If you don't like to be ignored, stop ignoring people, because you're trying to use that as a psychological tool to get them to do what you want. If you want to be loved, start being more loving, right? You can't get what you don't give. That's a spiritual principle. If you're not giving respect, how can you get respect and demand it? So one of the major things we got to do is we got to give what we want to receive. We have to give what we want to receive. We have to bless in the areas we want to be blessed. We have to invest in the parts of our lives we want to invest. Sometimes our dissatisfaction comes from a lack of investment. Not investing the time, not investing the money or the right energy, and we're not calling it reciprocity, right? Because sometimes we want something for nothing, but we got to give to get. It's a giving to get. That's called reciprocity. So a lot of times we are demanding stuff from people that we're not willing to invest in. We want to yield the benefit of an investment we're not willing to plant the seed in. You can't get money from the stock market if you don't support the company by buying some shares from the company. Likewise, we have to share energy, we have to share love, we have to share compassion, we have to share forgiveness in order for us to yield tenfold what we give. So this is a spiritual principle. It's better to give than to receive. Giving is the beginning of receiving. Investing is the beginning of getting blessed. Blessing is the beginning of getting the blessing back. So today's episode is about the art of being pleasant. And if you're going to paint the portrait of pleasantness, you got to put the stroke of being pleasant. And the strokes come with a smile today. It comes with communication today. It comes with forgiveness today. It comes with investing today. It comes with showing up today. You don't always have to show up with money to be a blessing. Your presence is a present if you present it well. Which means when you're there, just be there. You're with your son, be with your son. Give them your undivided attention. You shouldn't be just watching the game. Like, you should be playing a game. Like, you're with your mom, give them that attention. You shouldn't be on your phone scrolling to social media. You should be social and make life your media. Because the present that you give is your presence, and if you present it well without distraction, you're actually going to get back what you want, which is love. At the end of the day, we just want to be loved, we want to share love, and we want to be in loving environments. And the environments that we want to be in, we're not just in it because we're in it. We're in it because we create it. So go out there and actually paint the portrait of your pleasantness by actively creating what you want. Okay? And that's my message, and I'm sticking to it. It's the Holistic Motivator, and I want to remind y'all to go out there and be more pleasant, be more loving, be more forgiving, and utilize the gift that God gave you to be a blessing. That's my message, and I'm sticking to it. This has been Ed Talks Daily. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast and leave a review if it adds value to you. It's raining like crazy, so I gotta get out of here. Peace. Y'all have a blessed day.